All right, welcome to this week's episode of Trojan Poetry, number 3. This week I have chosen the poem. Mike has not read the poem. And I have chosen The Empty House by Walter de la Mare in order to get us into the Halloween spirit here. The poem was written in about 1920, so here we go. See this house, how dark it is beneath its vast-boughed trees. Not one trembling leaflet cries to the watcher in the skies. Remove, remove thy searching gaze, innocent of heaven's ways. Brood not, moon, so wildly bright, on secrets hidden from sight. Secrets, sighs the night wind, vacancy is all I find. Every keyhole I have made wails a summons, faint and sad. No voice ever answers me, only vacancy. Once, the cricket shrills, and far and near the quiet fills with its tiny voice, and then hush falls again. Mute shadows creeping slow mark how the hours go. Every stone is mouldering slow, and the least winds that blow some minutest atom shake, some fretting ruin make. In roof and walls, how black it is beneath these thick-boughed trees. All right, so I had another poem picked out originally for this, a totally different poem, but I started looking around last night and I found this one because I was trying to think of something for Halloween. And I didn't get it at first, or I thought I got it, but I really liked the mood of the poem. And I like poems that are kind of like mysteries, right? Where you get it, but you don't get all of it, so you kind of got to start picking it apart. But you feel like hope that you can get it, right? It's not so obscure that you actually feel like you can get it. So once I started looking at it, I became more obsessed with kind of the mystery of the poem and what exactly is going on. And I really like the fact that there are like little hints, right? Like the night wind is whispering the word secrets, and all of a sudden your mind is just like, oh, what kind of secrets are going on in this house, right? Like what's been going on in the house. And then the cricket, right? Once, like, oh, once upon a time something happened, right? So then you're like, well, what happened? You know, why is the house empty? What happened in the house? So I really got kind of drawn into that story, and I thought that was cool. And then I kind of, as I was reading it and I reread it, I couldn't get the rhyme scheme and I couldn't get the rhythm to work. And even I'm sure as you listen to me read it, it's very awkward, right? And it seems like it should be melodic, and some of the lines have a very nice kind of fairy tale rhythm. And then all of a sudden there's just a clunker, and you're like, whoa, you know, that doesn't sound good.
Fit. Yeah, it looks like it should fit on the page, but you're right, when you read it out loud, it doesn't.
Right, and then like in the second stanza, wind doesn't rhyme with find, and made doesn't rhyme with sad, even though they're right there. But then in the last stanza, you've got slow, go, slow, blow, shake, make, and then you've got is and trees. So you've got all these like clunkers of rhymes, and it's very awkward in the enjambment. Like the line breaks don't make sense. So I kind of became obsessed with the idea that he's purposefully setting up a rhythm, but then breaking the rhythm to try to get us to feel uncomfortable with this house. Yeah.
So that puts us off balance, and that's intentional maybe.
Right, right, because the whole house is creepy and weird, right?
And creaking and clunking and...
Yeah, and it's decaying, right? It's falling into ruin. And then I realized that the first two lines and the last two lines kind of repeat, but they don't repeat exactly. So if you look at the first two lines, it's, see this house, how dark it is beneath its vast-boughed trees. And you're like, oh, okay, there's a house over there, it's really dark under its trees. But then in the last two lines, it's, in roof and walls, how black it is beneath these thick-boughed trees. And it's not dark now, it's black. And then it's not its trees, it's these trees. And then I got the idea that maybe he's like taking us into the house. Right, so like...
Well, it says in roof and walls. So
right,
maybe
so...
they're moving in.
And like the wind goes into the house there in the last stanza. So he starts with us outside looking at the house, but I think by the end he's got us in the house. Which means...
that's where he leaves us.
It's not an empty house.
Dun, dun, dun.
The title of the poem is The Empty House, right? But then by the end, it's not empty anymore because we're in it.
Yeah.
And what is it like to be in the house? It's horrible, right? Because it's dark and it's decaying and it's innocent of heaven's ways. What is that? Like, what is innocent? Is it the house that's innocent? Is it the people that are innocent? So I did a little bit of research on de la Mare because I had remembered another one of his poems. So if you like this one, there's another one called The Listeners, which is kind of similar, but he's really well known for these kind of mystery, moody, romantic poems. Yeah. And I just think it's really cool for Halloween, right? To kind of get into that mysterious mood and spirit.
I think this is a great fit. This is a really creepy, weird poem. And the thing that I noticed is in the first stanza, the watcher in the skies that you mentioned, which is innocent of heaven's ways, brood not, right? So who is this watcher that's innocent? You know, usually you think of some godlike positive figure, force in the sky above us, and instead it seems to be a force for evil, right? Who is the watcher? But then also the line right above it, the third line, it says, not one trembling leaflet cries to that watcher in the skies, and yet someone is speaking. So who is crying and why is this watcher responding? I thought that was really interesting. And then, as you just said that there, John, how black it is beneath these thick bowed trees. I didn't even think about the fact that it's kind of like we're panning in, and then we're left inside the front door, and then that's the end of the poem. And whoa, I mean, it's totally Halloween, perfect, you know. Right.
So yeah, I don't want to be in the house.
I'm not going in there.
right. But that's where he like dumps us in there, and it's like, whoa, this is really uncomfortable.
Good luck.
Yeah. So really cool, I think. Walter de la Mare. Maybe look him up and find some more of these kind of interesting, creepy Halloween type poems. So the question we have for the discussion is, do you think I'm right about the end of the poem? Do you think he is putting us into the house? And if so, what does that mean?
Thanks for watching. Please join the conversation in the comments on YouTube or on Twitter at Trojan Poetry DGN. Also check out our website at trojanpoetrydgn.blogspot.com.